What is going on YouTube? It's your boy Wolf Smoke. Today, this is going to be a video about my starting guide in Elden Ring. Now, what are we going to be covering in this video? Basically, with every build that I have in this game, mind you, I have 500 hours plus in this game. I do have my platinum achievement for those who might be wondering. With that said, every single build that I've done, I've kind of learned a rhyme, a rhythm, and a bit of a recipe for starting out in Elden Ring. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to be hitting this starting loop, talking about some key items, some elements of the mechanics in the game, things to keep in mind moving forward. So this is what we're going to be covering. Starting loop, key items that you need in the beginning of the game. This will basically prepare you to then go out and start clearing content. If you're looking for a Let's Play, don't worry. With this build, post this recording, we will be live streaming on Twitch. Excuse me. And that's twitch.tv/wolfxsmoke_. If you guys want to check out this build and playthrough, feel free to stop on in, say hey. And we're going to be playing different builds, working all the way up to the DLC release later this year in June. So without further ado, before I fully lose my voice, because for some reason I can't talk this evening, we're going to jump into the video, and I'll see you guys then. Alright everybody. So we're in here in our character selection as soon as you start a new game in Elden Ring. And my apologies, we're going to have a bit of a breakup here in the starting guide. Full disclaimer, I was recording it off stream and ended up having a couple of issues with my encoder. Basically saying that I ran out of space, so we had to end the recording. I'm going to be picking up, restarting the first part, and then at a certain point we're going to be switching back to my initial build and character. So what we're doing here for the starting guide, we're going to be going through it with a Vagabond build. If you go into your origin, you can select different classes. There's Vagabond, Warrior, Hero, Bandit, Astrologer, Prophet, Samurai, which I've used quite a bit. I enjoy playing the Samurai class. The Prisoner, the Confessor, which I also have a build we're going to be displaying here on my YouTube channel, and the Wretch, which I do have a build for a Wretch as well. But with that, we're going to be doing Vagabond. The Vagabond is essentially the best kind of all-around start for melee class. You start with a shield, a sword, you also have a halberd. We're going to be selecting our keepsake as a stone sword key. I would advise doing this selection. There are a couple other selections people may recommend, however, most of which tend to be for the Fail Imp Ashes, which are summons. We'll get to those in this starting guide and kind of explain a little bit about that, but you can actually acquire those within your playthrough and you'll need them for a later game puzzle. But again, in your normal progression, you'll be able to acquire those as well. Some people recommend, oh, get a golden seed. Golden seeds are used for your essential, like Estus flask, if you will, to heal up. We're going to be finding plenty of golden seeds throughout this playthrough and in the Let's Play for this channel. We'll likely end up finishing our playthrough with golden seeds left over. Like, we'll max out our flasks before end of the game. So just keep that in mind moving forward. Again, Stone Sword Key is a keepsake. This allows you to get into certain, what's known as fog walls. Excuse me. You have to use these keys to unlock certain aspects of the game. It's always good to have as many as you can throughout your playthrough. So we're going to go ahead and start it out. We'll show you guys some of the opening cutscene and all that good stuff, and then we'll actually jump in to the game. Alright, so we're here. We're in the game. Awesome intro cutscene. Love it. So real quick about my class. Doing the Vagabond for this little starting guide. I'm going to go into my equipment really quick and explain a couple things. You'll notice here on the far right of my screen, kind of down towards the bottom, it says Equip Load. I am currently at a heavy load. Now, things to keep in mind when playing Elden Ring, you have light, medium, and heavy load. Light load will give you a very fast sprint and roll. When you get a dodge roll, you get iframes or invulnerability frames, with the higher window of dodging incoming hits. So the lighter the load, the better the roll. The better the roll, the more iframes you have. So just keep that in mind. I usually run at a medium weight. Just by taking the halberd off will be fine, but I also just can't stand this helmet for this class, so style points and Souls fashion. There you go. Take out your weapons, equip and unequip with the D-pad. So just be sure to pick this up. and we're gonna head out this door. Alright, let's do this. Chapel of Anticipation. So basically we're going to go through here. There's going to be a little instance that we are going to get into. I think I graphed and that jumps out at me. Basically we're going to take an L here. We're supposed to lose this fight. We're just going to do it quickly. Basically just let it happen. Not try and fight this thing too hard. There we go. We're about to begin. This is a little tutorial area when you start out the game, and then we're going to be actually getting out into the world following this cave that we're in. Now, a full disclaimer, we've watched some cutscenes going into this. Most of the cutscenes and dialogue we're going to be skipping in the game, with the exception of like boss encounters, certain other little events, but we're going to be trying to cover as much ground as we can for you guys, especially in this starting guide. So the first thing you're going to want to do, head on down here, just roll off, and here we go. Again, this is just a tutorial grave, so you have sites of grace. These are essentially your bonfires. Be able to do all kinds of things similar to the Dark Souls franchise, you know, level up, change the weapon arts on your items, things like that. Again, we're just going to get on through these guys. We're not going to spend too much time in here. And we're going to head on through. Let's see, I think some things to talk about. The main thing is we're going to be doing the kind of starting loop in the starting zone known as Limgrave. We're going to be heading up to a couple of different zones, as a matter of fact, in this little starting loop that we do. Right into the backstab. Later, bud. On over here. I think this is a little emote or gesture. There we go. Alright. Touch this grace. We're going to come back here at a later time in the Let's Play series. Don't worry about this for right now, but these are the fog walls, and these are the statues where you would use those stone sword keys. Grab that, and let's head up. Ready for battle. How we all doing today? Alright, let's get on up here. Here we are. Welcome to Limgrave. So, now we have opened up the world. We have now, I guess, officially started the game. We're out of the tutorial zone. First thing you're going to want to do, once you take your first steps, head off to the right. Grab this. This is a multiplayer and co-op item. Head on up here. Do not attack that NPC. Touch the site of grace. Don't need a rest or anything like that. You could if you needed to. Now we're going to go ahead and talk to Vare. With NPCs in this game, things to note. Exhaust the dialogue all the way through. Now what I mean when I say that is you're going to want to go through the dialogue until they repeat themselves. Once they repeat themselves, it's like, okay, cool. I know that I've gone through everything that they have to say to me at this point. To progress some of the storylines, the quest lines, other instances like that in this game, you're going to want to make sure that you always exhaust the dialogue to the fullest extent. So I'm going to be skipping through most of this dialogue and a lot of the starting stuff. I will talk about certain things as we go through it, and then we're going to go ahead and jump into the starting loop. So.
Oh yes, come to the love course. You unfortunate without gun. You are fate. Luck me. Are you familiar? You may also that. It will lead even if it. Grace to castle, the home. It will castle if you. It will castle if you seek the Elden.
There we go. So now he's said everything he has to say. It's actually tied to a quest line later on into the game, and we'll be running into him throughout the playthrough. Gonna head out over here. There's this little kind of broken up church building that we want to go to. Oh, also to note, these skulls that are glowing, the glowing ones, if you break them, get yourself some gold runes. Runes are like souls, just keep that in mind. Essentially like your ability to level up, currency of sorts within this game. Head over here, grab your upgrade item. We have our merchant.
And I can also select you're not then. Why not? I am Carly.
So first thing to grab, so that way throughout this playthrough we'll be able to craft items. Get yourself the crafting kit. First thing to always grab.
Goodbye.
No reason to not to. Head over here, touch this grace. And again, we don't have to stop and rest or anything. We just want that grace so we can fast travel to it. That is something to note, is when you do discover sites of grace, it will allow you to fast travel back to that at any given time, as long as you're not in combat at the time. So, let's go ahead and fight someone. There we go. Gauntlets. Put those on. Why not? Take out this guy. Got some bolts and some kirky. Go out here. This little area up in front of us is known as Gate Front. It's a bit of an encampment down here. Some enemies. There's also that little kind of statue right ahead of me, center of my screen, just above my head. There's an item just at the base of that, which is the map fragment, so we can actually see this zone. I'm gonna grab that in just a second. Main thing is we're gonna grab that. We're gonna grab this site of grace. Our NPC friend will show up and talk to us at this site of grace. We'll get our mount. And then there's an item here in Gate Front that we're gonna grab, just that way we have it on us as early as possible. We're not gonna worry about really fighting anything, to be clear. So, just to make sure we cover that aspect. Let's see, I also... Are those guys gonna head back this way? What do we got going on here? That's just the one. I should be alright. Oh, no, there's multiple. We're just gonna wrap this way so they can't get to us. You can hear the kind of the music in the background change. It means that we're in combat. Sit over here. Just touch the grace. Oh, let me rest, please. Nope, it's not going to. We have the whole camp after us. Silly me. Well, I guess what we can do, since we have the whole camp behind me. Do you see how quick they came to me? That's so wild. Alright, let's go this way. Wonder if I'll take an L super early on in this little starting guide. Which does happen sometimes, but if you make your way over here through this camp, since all of them are behind me, this makes it real easy to grab this item. Go down these steps. Just do this in a slightly different order I was thinking of doing it in. Open up this door. This will get you the Ash of War Storm Stomp, also known as a weapon art, and the whetstone knife, which the whetstone knife is the item we want. It will allow us to change those specific move sets and things like that tied to certain weapons pretty much on the fly when you're at a site of grace. As long as you have the Ashes of War, you can pretty much switch them around to whatever you want, kind of get some custom move sets to weapons that you might like. Get off me, Mr. Wolf. I'm the alpha. Alright, so did all those guys reset? Yeah, they're all just kind of doing their thing. So that worked out. We got our item. Whoa. Did that squirrel just kicked that skull all the way down there? Huh? Over 500 hours in this game, and I still see little things that kind of trip me out. I'm like, wow. Maybe I'm just easily amused. I don't know. Anyway.
Hey!
Well, hello. My apologies. I'm having some issues with storage on my PC, but it seems that we are back. We are now going to continue our recording from basically where we left off. You notice it's now nighttime, so I was cut off in my recording, basically walking over here after we got the whetstone. We're going to be resting at this site of grace. Upon this initial resting at this site of grace, we will meet an NPC. You're going to accept her accord. Be sure to go through the dialogue. And that will give you access to the Spectral Steed Whistle, which I have equipped now at this time. And she gives you your mount. So, after resting, speaking with her, and getting the Spectral Steed, it will be nighttime. Back to Limgrave. Gate front. We'll go back to the Church of Ella. I think that's the requirement steps, is just fast traveling to reset the world state. There she is.
Tarnished. May I have a word? A pleasure to meet thee, Tarnished. I am the witch. I'd heard tell, and upon look the talk, thou art possessed to call forth. Ah.
So she asked us, can you call forth the Spectral Steed?
By Torrent's former.
She has something for us, the Spirit Calling Bell. This will allow us to call in the summons. She gives us the Lone Wolf Ashes, which are your first summons that you get.
'Tis a bell for calling, summon them with it. From out the spirits will obey thine come. Now it is thine. Forgive my
Continue
intrusion,
speaking with her.
I doubt we shall. How long will it be before the tarn?
And now we've exhausted the dialogue. Alright. So what we're going to do from here, once we speak with the NPC, we're going to go back to Gatefront. And actually switch it over to daytime once we get here. I would advise keeping it daytime. We only need it to be nighttime to speak with that NPC back at the church.
Me? I'm set for my for the I am no.
Alright, past time until morning. Whenever you get the option when you rest at a site of grace to speak with her, I would advise doing so. Now, later in the game, I will let you know not to do so at a certain point, because you don't want to progress things. But now that it's morning, hop on Torrent. And we're just going to head out this way. So you notice an item right there. Don't go for it. Just keep on running. Watch out for the archers. Big troll guy that's going to jump down. you go for that item, you'll basically be in for a fight you're likely not ready for. So head up this way, we're going to grab one of those golden seeds. This will give us an additional charge to our flask. Right there. Head off to the right. There's going to be an upgrade material here for your weapon. We'll use that later. Now we're on Storm Hill. There's a shack up here to the left we're going to go to. We're going to talk to another NPC. We're going to grab a stone sword key. Very important items to have on you. And there's also a grace right there that you'll notice. So let's mosey on up here. Grab your item. Talk to this NPC. Now she's going to give you an additional summoning ash. You're going to want to make sure that you get this because that ash for a jellyfish, as a matter of fact, is used for a late game puzzle. So you're definitely going to want to do this. Be sure to speak with her. And she will actually advance to the central hub known as a round table hold.
Only to have their... Did you know? It's quite a...
I'm going to get a gesture.
And heading to... Enticed by the well that may... But I don't have... It's scary. I want to... I'm nothing. Oh, I know. Can you take...
Here's our spirit jellyfish.
The poor thing. And it'll be glad of your... It was a pleasure. Oh, tell them I love them finally get...
Alright. Go ahead and grab this grace. Now from this grace, we're going to go here and here. So we're going to head out east, northeast, east from the grace. We're going to head over to another site of grace at the War Master's shack. There's an NPC in this shack. And do keep in mind, if it is nighttime, I'm not sure upon first initial visit, but at nighttime, at this shack, there is a bit of a mini-boss that will spawn here. It's very difficult to take on right now, so I'd advise just getting over here. Make sure it's during the day. Talk to this NPC. He does have Ashes of War available. There's one that I am going to likely pick up for the no skill, which oddly enough removes the Ash of War from any item that has something equipped to it. So for example, my shield, until I get a better shield, I'm not much of a parry shield guy. I prefer to be able to use a weapon skill or weapon art with a shield. And the weapon that we do get later on has a very nice weapon art. I'm very familiar with using it, so we will likely get the no skill in a little bit. Also, be sure to not harm this NPC. He is tied to a later quest line, so just go ahead and talk to him. Tell him that your grace... Sorry. Yeah, let him know that your faith holds firm. There you go.
Takes me any interest. All I know now's the time.
So, like I said, Ashes of War available. The Ash of War no skill would likely be one that I would pick up.
Not floating. Well, there's...
Let's see if I actually can just go ahead and do that now. Is that 200? Nice.
There you are.
So, let's go ahead and show you guys. We go no skill. So that I would prefer to have on my shield. Go ahead and show you guys what that whetstone does when you change up the Ashes of War. Might as well show you guys this early on so you understand what's going on. Also the golden seeds, the additional charges to your flask. Go ahead and upgrade your flask. Then we have Ashes of War. So for my shield, we're going to do no skill. Alright, so now I can have the shield, and then I can actually use the weapon art, the stance for my blade, and it'll seamlessly go back. The shield that we do start out with, we have guarded damage negation for physical of 100. So basically we keep our shield up, we're going to be alright. We're going to block a lot of the incoming damage. Won't have to worry much about anything. I'm used to playing sword and shield, so with my play style, especially with a quality build, it just makes life a lot easier. We're going to pull this troll right here, right over to this statue. You'll notice an item glowing within the statue. We need this troll to come over here and break it. Or this big boy. Yeah, come on over. Come on over. These guys can be a bit of a pain in the butt at times. Especially with my camera wanting to recenter and focus where I don't necessarily want it to. Grab the item. Grab the item. Grab the item for the third time. And we're going to haul out this way. You notice that second map marker we have up. Don't worry about the troll. Just keep on running. Get on through this camp. You can go for this item if you can grab it. Along the way, that's exalted flesh. It'll give you some buffs. Always good to have that with you. Move on past these guys. Now you'll hear an NPC talking with us. I'm just going to go ahead and grab this grace so we can get what's behind us de-aggroed. Let me actually double check what's going on here with my camera settings. Hopefully that works out better.
Hello? Can you hear me? Help
Oops.
me. I'm stuck.
I want to go up this way. Hello? Anyone?
Anyone?
We have Jarbro.
Oh, my star. I am at ease.
Alexander.
Can you help?
So help him out.
My thanks. Just
Gonna hit him a
give me
few times from the
I'll
back.
go
Wait,
down
what?
it.
Pause.
Give it your all, I
And he'll actually pop out from where he is stuck. Bam. 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 Go. Now we're gonna talk to him again.
Oh, that's... well,
He'll give you some more exalted flesh. Yay.
once again, I am beyond and upon this. I'd heard doesn't the no... I'm...
He was talking about going east to Caelid, Redmane Castle,
I'm heading to
for the Red
Redmane.
Festival. That'll be later on. We'll cover that in the playthrough. For the starting guide, you don't really have to worry about it, but you do want to speak to him so that way you have that set up. His questline is actually really cool. Goes for a good portion throughout the game, actually. Alright. Once we've rested, hop back on Torrent. Don't worry about Mr. Pumpkinhead here. Gonna go on past him. Grab this real fast. Little upgrade item. Now we're still in Limgrave. We're going to be heading through this graveyard here, so do be cautious. There's quite a bit of undead enemies that will arise. You'll notice this NPC standing over here. This is D. And we're going to go ahead and speak with D. So just burn through the dialogue. He also has his own quest line. He'll also be advancing to the Round Table Hold.
Turn back. The village turn back.
Alright, and we exhausted the dialogue there. Jump up here to this side of Grace. So there are some enemies that'll spawn down there in the water. That's a bit of a mini boss there, which we're going to get an item from him, likely in the part 2 of the starting guide. With that item, it's kind of tied to D's quest, the NPC who we just spoke with. And we'll actually show you guys where to go to advance that quest line. And also for anyone who needs a seal, we get the Claw Mark seal, which will allow you to do incantations if you're more of a melee build, but you want to incorporate some faith or some arcane or something like that. It'll help you out in that regard. So we're going to go up to this statue. We're going to use that stone sword key. This will get us a very nice item. If you're not really sure where to go to here in the Summon Water Ruins, which is where we're at, just look for the turtles. You'll know that you're in the right place. All the turtles in here. Don't worry, these guys won't attack you. You can farm them for a item which will you can craft and it'll boost your stamina regeneration, but this item here is the green turtle talisman. Now, the talisman in our equipment, if you look, this raises stamina recovery speed. I almost always have this on my build. Now we can head on up and out. Get rid of these map markers here. Alright. Let's go down this way. Don't have to worry about that guy. I don't need any flasks, but those are the crimson scarabs. So if you're running out of different flash charges and you want to replenish them, if you see them and you take them out, you'll be good to go that way. Let's hop down here. Usually over by these little grave sites, if you will, there's usually some gold runes and stuff. Wow, torrent, really? My game doesn't want to let me pick stuff up via torrent anymore. I'm gonna run around and grab these. Always good to have. Now, I'm not going to be popping these things right away. I usually wait until I know there's something I really want, or I need to, you know, just like a couple hundred more runes to be able to clear to the next level when I'm leveling up. Come in handy that way. So head out from those. Should be an airlift down low, and also a scarab that's going to have a nice move that we want to make sure that we get. Good one to have early on. Break this. And where is that guy? You down low one more? Yes, he is. So that scarab right there we're going to go for. You'll notice this, I call them airlifts. These are really nice. If you jump down and you see how it kind of goes around torrent, you'll be safe from any sort of fall damage as long as you hit that. Ash of War Sacred Blade. Very good Ash of War to have early on, especially for some of the catacombs with skeletons. The undead tend to rise again, but if you kill them with a holy weapon or something with sacred, right, that sort of aspect to it, you'll pretty much kill them in one of their lives versus having to potentially hit a follow-up hit while they're down to kill them for good. Here's the Crimson Crystal Tear and the Flask of Wondrous Physic. This is an additional flask in Elden Ring. Go ahead and talk about it a little bit and show you guys. We're not really going to set it up at this time. However, might as well talk about it. Now we can talk to our NPC again. Go to our flask. We just got a Sacred Tear. That'll increase the amount of HP and FP replenished by your flask. Always make sure to grab Sacred Tears whenever you can. I'll be calling some out in the second part of the starting guide video. You can add charges to flask, allocate them, that sort of good stuff. But you can also mix Wondrous Physic. So this is a flask where you can custom mix whatever it is. This will restore half of your total HP. I'm not going to put that on right now. We're actually going to be getting some better ones more suited for my build, which the two charges that I'm going to put on early that we're going to go grab here shortly, or potentially in part 2 of the video, depending upon how I break it up. It'll be for stamina. It'll be a stamina buff and also a charge attack buff, which is really good to have. So like I said, whenever you can speak with her, go ahead and do so.
Words of if you wish. Very, my lord, with thine ye will well.
Just some lore, some dialogue. Alright. No, it's still doing it. That is the most annoying thing. Why is this doing this? Okay, hopefully we're good now. I can't stand when my camera does that. Does it by itself. It's very annoying. Anyway, we're gonna head up here, this little broken structure. We're gonna talk to an NPC.
Hello? Is anybody there?
He's going to be telling us about an area that he wants us to clear out down south, which we'll be doing in the Let's Play.
Despite you might have untarnished, I want you tonight.
We'll pretty much just speak with him, exhaust his dialogue.
Oh, I fret not to celebrate. I that depraved Lord honestly first, then he in and to think, yeah. What my fault.
Okay. From him, you'll notice right here on the map we have a map fragment to go grab, so we're going to go ahead and mark that on the map. This area that we're going into, known as the Mistwoods, there are quite a few bears, very large-sized bears. I advise staying away and not poking the bears or disturbing the bears in any way, shape, form, or fashion, because they're pretty beefy right now, and we haven't done any leveling. Not to say that you can't take them on, but just for ease and purpose of just getting yourself some starting items and you know, it's where you can get some levels, like that big boy right there. You want to avoid that big guy. The smaller ones aren't as much dangerous, but you know, if you aggravate one small one, you can then have a big one, and then you got more small ones and another large one, and then you're gonna be in some trouble. So grab this, and we're just gonna head up here. There are items around here I'm not gonna worry about grabbing, just like little brewing items and stuff like that. We're approaching the minor Erd tree, which is what we want. That's the mix for our wondrous physic I'm going to be running early on in this game. And then we're going to grab this. It'll give us ground slam, which I'm not planning on using, but it is there. You might as well grab it. Now, if you remember, we just got a map fragment. I know I'm moving a little bit quick, but if you go to your map, you'll see that we have some more stuff discovered. I'm trying to think if there's anything super crucial that we want to grab right now. Oh yes, there is. This structure here, I want to head over this way. This is going to kind of start off what seems to be side questing, which turns into some really more significant events later on. So listen for the howling. We have an NPC friend up top there. There's also a very large bear here in this area that we're going to want to avoid. As long as you hear the howling, you'll be fine. Don't wake up that bear. Should be an item. There is one down low. I thought there was potentially another item to grab. I'm not going to worry about the other item right now. But we are going to jump down here. Grab another talisman, which I think this also enhances charge attacks. Should be the axe talisman? Yes. Okay. So yeah, again, just don't disturb the bear. Don't touch the bear. Stay away from the bear. He's a sleepy boy. Don't want to disturb him. Sure. Alright. Cool. Now that we have that done, let's go ahead and I guess we can kind of start that part off as well before we go up, and then we can do everything at once. Yeah, that's perfect. So once again, listen for the howling. Once you've heard the howling, go back here to the Church of Ella. Now here at the church, we're going to talk to our merchant friend again, who's going to have some additional dialogue for us.
Wait, well, you're back.
He says about the howling in the Mistwood.
The howl of a wolf, I suppose. Next time you hear, don't fret. I just haven't.
It will give you a gesture.
Goodbye for now.
All right. Sorry for the broken up video. So we did speak with Kali. Spoke with him about the howling in the Mistwood. You can rest if you need to. From there, we're going to be jumping back to the Third Church of America. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and advance this now. So from the Third Church of America, up on Torrent, we're going to go right back where that NPC was and advance this. And as we progress through this bit of a starting loop that we're doing, if you do this now, it'll just have you set up for later to all in one go. Once we go down south to the Weeping Peninsula, you'll basically be able to, from there, get your weapon, and you will be, like I said, good to go for the entire playthrough of the game. That is for a later zone here, right here. You can take an elevator down. We're not going to do that currently. You take an elevator down there if you want right now, so you have it for later. There's a site of grace as soon as you get off the elevator. Don't do anything there if you decide to do that and unlock it for yourself early on. I'm not necessarily going to cover doing so right now. We'll do that in Let's Play. So from right here, use our gesture. Nope. I go over here. I wish my camera would stop doing that. Okay. Give him the signal. Go hop down. We're gonna speak with him.
Who goes there? Carly sent you. The name's Blythe. He fled somewhere near. Come tell me if I can offer you. Dara will, and in need of it.
Alright. So he's looking for somebody. We're gonna help him with that later on. So now that we spoke with Blythe, let's go ahead. Go back to the Third Church of America. Just be faster if we fast travel. And if we hop this way, we're about to go to a zone where we do not belong. But very much worth going there now. If you guys remember, I mentioned at the Summon Water Ruins, where the kind of field boss was there floating in the lake. Now, if you kill that little mini-boss, you will get an item known as a Death Root. We're going to be opening up the doors here to the Bestial Sanctum, which inside there's an NPC where you bring these Death Roots to, and the sooner that you defeat that field boss, you will be able to come here and give him the first Death Root. Upon doing that, you'll get the Claw Mark Seal, which for melee builds that aren't maining in Faith or Int, the melees where you can use incantations, maybe some other, different things there, that'll give you a seal early on to be able to cast those incantations. Now, most of which, you can imbue your weapon with lightning, with flame, with, further bleed damage, stuff like that. And you're going to need to level up a little bit of faith, and we're going to be covering that within this build in the Let's Play. For the starting guide, just make sure you get that site of grace. You don't need to speak with him right now. And we're going to head out here. Again, we're in an area we don't belong. Do not try and fight that gargoyle right now. And we're basically just going to go in a straight line, avoid those little enemies, these little guys. But grab the golden seed. Give us an additional charge to our flask. We're just going to head on down. You'll notice the site of grace right down there by the bridge. Going to be a big chunky dragon on that bridge too, if I remember correctly. There he is. Yeah. So now we're going to have our NPC friend pop up again, and she's actually going to take us to our central hub known as the Round Table Hold. And this is why we do this so early on and in this order. You come up here, you rest, she will appear.
To determine if you have. It seems torrent, whereas I may. There is, but I can take gathering place. Very well. Let my hand.
So you're going to take her hand. And here we are at the round table hold. This is essentially the centralized hub of this game. If we look on the map, you'll notice we're way over here at Table of Lost Grace. Here's D. Here's another NPC that you can speak to. Here's another NPC that you can speak to. And I'll let you guys kind of figure things out for yourselves. Main thing is to get this place unlocked and speak with him. I think he gives you a gesture. Yeah. We have the little merchants back here. So these merchants here, you'll get what's known as bell bearings, I believe. You bring them to this merchant, and certain NPCs that drop them who have like an inventory in which you can shop with them and things like that. If they meet their demise, they'll drop a bell bearing, bring them to this individual here, these individuals here, and you can then access their shop via the round table hold, which is where we are. I think main person we're going to speak to, that room will unlock later. Don't go up those steps and down. You don't want to fight what's down there yet.
Oh, this is a rare occasion. I can't remember very well.
This is
It
Gideon,
safe.
who claims to be the
I'll
all-knowing.
meet you. The house can remember you.
Go back here. There's an NPC back here we can speak to. We'll talk about that in the Let's Play. We have our blacksmith.
You're new, no matter loud. You're.
But yeah, round table hold. There you go. We're gonna go back to where we were, right over here at the Great Bridge, up in Caelid. And from here, gonna be a little bit tricky, but basically from the Grace, you're gonna go up the hill slightly to the right. Gonna avoid all those guys. There's gonna be like some traps and other things to avoid, but you want to work your way back over here to this corner and drop down. What we're basically doing is just circling back around. All of those poison traps on the road you're gonna want to avoid. I would advise just kind of sticking over here to the right. We're going to go across this bridge, and there's another side of Grace. Grab this. Oh, when I say that this will help a lot of people out in Elden Ring, this spot right here, it is, yeah, it's a pretty well-known spot by now. I did not discover this. I've learned this just throughout playthroughs and seeking out other guides. Shout out Fighting Cowboy. But if you go down this way from that Grace, I just want to explain what I'm talking about here. This is a farming trick. There is a giant ball that's going to spawn in right here, and it's going to try to crush you. Now, when it spawns in, go to the right, and then jump, and that's going to fall off. And you'll notice we get roughly 2,000 souls. We can then fast travel back here to that side of Grace we were just literally at. You can reset this and do this as many times as you need to. If you run into an item that you need to purchase from an NPC, you don't know how to farm stuff out, I mean, every time you do this and you live, it's about 2,000 souls. Now, it can take a while. I don't suggest doing that and then pumping a whole bunch of levels into your build. What I'm actually going to be doing is, you can also run back here, rest, reset it. I was doing this a few times because there's an upgrade map that I'm going to grab early on. While I do this one last time. There's different weapons within this game, obviously. The more basic weapons have 25 tiers of upgrades, and the more unique weapons have 10. So So I'm going to be using one of the unique weapons known as the Bloodhound's Fang for my quality build. It's one of my favorite weapons in the game. It also has a little bit of bleed damage on there too, so I love getting a nice bleed proc on a boss. Something special. And I'm sure we'll have plenty on display with the Let's Play series that we're going to be putting out. So we're going to be working towards getting that upgraded as much as possible, just to show you guys really how strong you can start out in this game. We haven't even cleared any content at all. We've just been running around grabbing items, getting some fast travel points, getting the central hub, and now I'm showing you guys one of the best farming tricks in the game. I'm sure there's other ones, but this is one of the most consistent ones early on to use. If you want to pump levels in the stats, you can. If you want to level up a whole bunch of faith early on but still play as melee, you can do so. You know, this is how you get your hybrid builds super early on and level up appropriately. So we leave the starting guide off and we actually go into the Let's Play. If you take it from there, you'll pretty much be in a good spot for yourself to still have a strong playthrough. Wait, what was that? 15,000? Is that a glitch? 15,000? That's very strange. If you take it from there, you'll pretty much be in a good spot for yourself to still have a strong playthrough. Huh, I'll have to run that back in the video and actually see what just happened there. I should not have 15,000 right now. I was only looking for about 6,000 with doing that farm. So if you do that one a few times, you should have, you know, about 6,000 runes. We're going to be progressing up to a point where we're going to go get some upgrade materials early on, like I stated, for the weapon that we're going to acquire early on to give you guys a really confident start in this game, be able to output a ton of damage. You won't really have to worry about clearing any of the early on zones. And then, you know, from the third church, you would go to the Mistwood outskirts, you'd follow that, take the little airlift up, and then that'll get you to this grace where we're at currently. From here, we go down through this way into the Weeping Peninsula, which is across the way here. So, go ahead and show you guys that now. Also, to state, in the Let's Play, one of my favorite shields is actually carried by these knights that are out here. They have a brass mid-sized shield, very similar to the one that's on my back currently. It's just a better version. Better guard boost, things like that. It's actually one of the best mid shields in the game in my opinion, so I will be farming out one of those for the playthrough. Let's go ahead and talk to Yura, one of my favorite NPCs. He has his own quest line and stuff like that. A lot of fun. I advise talking to him now. You don't have to, but why not?
You must be the new Tarnished. You do well to stay. And it's his fear. So, stay clear.
He's basically warning you. He's warning you about going into the lake because there's a dragon. He's like, you know, don't mess with that, man. You don't want that smoke. And we do, just not right now. Not going to worry about farming out the shield currently. We're just going to head on over here. So just under that little bridge-like broken structure, you can speak with Yura. Again, this is the Grace here. Gil Lake South. I'm going to go up here to the road. Now, just to state, you remember we had that interaction with Blythe, the wolf guy who's looking for someone? That someone he's looking for is right in here. This is where we get our Bloodhound's Fang, the weapon that we're going to use. But before we do that, there's a couple more very key items I want to show you guys. I feel these are just often missed. And, you know, once again, I just want to show people, especially some of my homies that have this game that have been talking to me about like, yo, like, I would play Elden Ring more, I just don't know what to do, like, I don't know how to play it. I'm like, oh, why didn't you say so? So I'm actually making this guide for anyone who's looking for the information, friends included. Watch out for the ballista. They're going to shoot something at you here in a second. There we go, just kind of sidestep that. Come on over here, grab the item, grab this item. Another stone sword key. And then now we are in the Weeping Peninsula. Gonna hit this side of Grace, de-aggro everything. Alright, so from the Bridge of Sacrifice in the Weeping Peninsula, we're gonna head on out. We're just gonna continue on our path. There's a weapon that we're gonna grab. There's also an NPC down here. We're not going to speak with her just yet. She is tied to a small sort of instance type of quest line, and you know, once again, we're going to be covering that in the Let's Play. We're not doing that in the starting guide currently. Just leave her be. And what we are going to cover, and what's going to be a little bit dangerous here because those dogs are so like dangerous, but we want to grab the Morning Star, and we just want to get the heck up out of here. This Ash of War that's tied into this Scarab is mighty shot. Nothing that I really stress about getting, but if I can get it now, without fighting the dog, I will do so. I'm gonna head on this way. Now we're just continuing up that path. I know I kind of spun my camera around a little bit. Grab this side of Grace. From that Grace, we can also early on, we're going to grab this. There's a map fragment down there that we're going to grab. But I find it funny that this is often missed early on. There's quite a few people I've watched play this game, and I've noticed that they've missed this item. And they get down here after doing their starting loop, and they're like, wait, oh man, I always forget that that one's there. So watch out, there's a really big archer guy over there. He's going to shoot some really large arrows at us. Grab that golden seed for another charge to our flask. Basically, once we're in this field, just be cautious. He's going to be shooting some big arrows at us. Grab the map. And notice now he's shooting them at us. There we go. Grab that guy. And we'll rest at de-aggro. And then from here we can actually head out. We're going to get one more sacred tier. We're also going to get a really nice incantation that you can cast, Flame of Frenzy. Do be cautious of enemies here in the area as they are afflicted with the Frenzied Flame, which if that builds up, you'll take what's known as Madness, and it'll damage you fairly significantly, especially early on. I'm almost certain at this point it might even one-shot. So we're going to run over here, grab Flame of Frenzy, grab the Sacred Tier, and then hop out the back. While we're here, a little bit of a route. Once again, all these guys are afflicted with Flame of Frenzy. Grab those items. You're going to come over here to the cliff. I don't advise going and doing anything too strenuous at this point as far as what's around this area and what you can actually access. Just follow my lead here. Take this drop down. We're going to go across this bridge. Don't worry about this guy. Now we could hop down here. I'm not going to just yet. That'll be in the Let's Play. What we want to do is basically just take this all the way up. There's a point of interest here that we're going to go get. Should have a Side of Grace and another Sacred Tier, which again, these give us even more healing and FP recovery when we use our flasks. Cool. So now there's an item back here, not super duper important, but some blood grease, and we're not even going to worry about it. You can farm those guys for their curved swords, which are actually pretty nice to have. Oh yeah, here's a shield as well. It's a small shield with parry. It's a nice one to grab. Be sure not to miss it. And from here, if you recall, now we have the Weeping Peninsula map, so we're going to be heading out right over here. That's the main thing that we want. Where is... Where's this map marker? Where's it at? Boo boo. Boo doo. Thought I was going to take damage there. Alrighty. Ah, yeah, okay. Those are the ruins down there. Just basically want to head out straight. Again, if you crush these, just grab yourself some runes. Now, for my faith players, if you want to attempt this, you really want to go faith, there's an awesome weapon that's underground here, but there's an enemy that I'm not going to be fighting right now that you have to fight in order to acquire that weapon. We'll cover that in the Let's Play. But for now, we're going to head up here. There's another church on the way to the marker that we set, which means there's another sacred tier for us. Now, those enemies will aggro to you. You can also farm them up for the shield that I had referred to earlier, where I was saying it was a nice shield. One of the better ones, in my opinion, in the game. Go ahead and grab this brace. And we have that big, like, monumental structure right there. So when you defeat the bosses in the game, which have what's known as remembrances, basically the demigods in the game, you can also get something under those ruins as well. We'll be covering that in the Let's Play, not in this starting guide. But those big things with the bell on it, you can use to duplicate the boss remembrances. So if you, for example, want the boss weapon and the something else that you could acquire, you can basically farm those up and get both items that way. I think also if you wanted one of their weapons and you wanted two of their weapons, you can also do that as well. So this merchant is what we came down here for. He has what we want. One of the better items starting out to make sure you grab is the lantern.
Have a safe journey.
Now with the lantern, we're going to go ahead and equip it on the down for our D-pad. And this will allow you to, when in dark places, have some light. There you go. So we're way out here, isolated merchant shack. Now, there is some stuff we're going to cover in the Let's Play here. This is where we grab the Flame of Frenzy and the Sacred Tear. There's also one of the minor Erd trees here as well. But I think we've done a good portion to get you guys ready and set up to then tackle Limgrave. So if you feel ready from this point, you know, you have a torch, you have some upgrade materials. I went ahead and put some levels into my stats so I can get a weapon and be able to use for my Let's Play. But we got a good start going on for ourselves. So for those that aren't playing quality, I've pretty much exhausted the starting loop for you. If you're doing casting or you're maining strength or you're maining dex, I think you're at a good point to go ahead and, you know, head out through Limgrave and go ahead and explore there. Now, when I do my Let's Play series, the, you know, other videos that are coming after these in the playlist here on my YouTube channel, if you guys want to follow along, I'm still going to be doing it in a sense of explaining what I'm doing along the way and why. So if you guys, you know, get hung up along the way and you want to check in, I'll try and have titles and descriptions set up accordingly to, at a quick glance, you would be able to tell if the video is going to help you or not. But yeah, thank you guys for hanging out. I'm going to go ahead and get some lunch. And, you know, just enjoy your time in the lands between. This was our Limgrave starting guide, starting loop to basically getting yourself set up. We also included the farming spot for early game, so you can pretty much build and have the power fantasy that you want within this experience. And once again, it's your boy Wolf X Smoke. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to leave a like. If you guys want to check into my more advanced starting guide, doing a Kaled loop, as well doing the loop up in the lakes section. A lot of other explanations to be had there. So go ahead and check out part 2, and we'll see you guys in the next video.